the toughest test looms for the toughest drivers. Beneath their wheels, 1,000 miles of rocks, silt, mountain trails, wide open desert. Race teams have been preparing since they crossed the finish line in the SCORE Baja 400. That day, Bryce Menzies held off a furious challenge by Luke McMillan to take the win. In Class 1, Brian Parkhouse outlasted his rivals and took the crown. Among trophy truck specs, Ryan Hancock and Christopher Pavorde battled fiercely all day, with Pavorde coming out on top to set up one final epic clash here in the 1000. The SCORE Desert Championship has been leading up to this, the longest, roughest, most anticipated contest of the racing year. Titles will be decided, dreams may be crushed, reputations will be made. This is the Bfgoodrich SCORE Baja 1000, presented by 4 Wheel Parts.
Howdy friends, it's time for the granddaddy of all off-road races. That's right, it's time for the Bfgoodrich Tires 55th Annual SCORE International Baja 1000, presented by 4 Wheel Parts. Howdy everybody, Cameron Steele from Ensenada, Baja, California, which I would call the hub or the capital of off-road racing worldwide, because the excitement is absolutely nuts here. I'm telling you that they are ready to go racing, whether it's the racers, the fans, the crews, the media, everybody is psyched for this to go down. And I gotta tell you, there is a massive field of drivers when we talk about the talent that is available here. Now, first off the line was decided by how you finished at the SCORE International Baja 400 presented by VP Racing Fuels. Of course, that winner was Bryce Menzies. Now, all the drivers there mostly drove by themselves. They didn't have a teammate. Bryce, though, has chosen a teammate for this race in Andy McMillan. Now, Andy McMillan has won the Baja 1000 a couple times. Bryce has 8 SCORE wins to his credit, but Bryce has never won the Baja 1000. Could this be the year? Bryce is definitely one of the perennial favorites in our sport. Andy has been one of the greatest in our sport over the last decade. We'll see if they can put it together, but they have formidable challengers. Now, we're talking about teams that have paired up. There are like 16 amazing drivers that you can find in this first batch that will blow your mind. Right behind Bryce and Andy is Rob McCachran and Luke McMillan. Luke's trying to win for the 3rd time in a row, the 2nd time in a row with Rob Mack, and Rob Mack is probably the best driver to ever drive off-road race cars, and he's here to do it with Luke. That is a tough team. Behind them, the number 23 is Dan McMillan. That's right, this is Luke's brother, who's teaming up with Josh Daniel, a former partner of mine, who is a heck of a wheelman. This is definitely an exciting matchup. And speaking of exciting, there may not be a more exciting team than the Mexican national team of Gus Vildosola Jr., also known as Tavo, and his teammate Alan Ampudia from the Papas and Beer family here in Ensenada. Now, they are both Mexican nationals, as I said, but they are also both overall winners of the SCORE Baja 1000. How incredible is that duo? I mean, there is a huge list of hitters involved in the front of this pack. Let's talk about one team that is not a team. Well, they're a team, but they're a solo driving team. The legend, Larry Rossler, will take on this year's Baja 1000 solo, which means he will drive every mile. No one doubts Larry Rossler's ability, so we'll see if he can get it done here. Let's also talk about Christopher Pavorde. This is only the 2nd time he's raced the Baja 1000. He is leading the SCORE International overall points. We'll see if they can get it done. I guarantee you this is going to be a barn burner of a race here in Ensenada, Baja, California, where we'll start and finish. And speaking of which, let's take a look at the race course we're going to be doing battle on. The race is going to start, of course, in Ensenada, which is a tradition. You're going to leave out of town through the mountains just to the east and head out into the area known as Ojos Negros. You'll know you've reached the Los Pinos summit when you can see the Saldana out in the background in the low desert, and you start going down the steep and vertical sides of the hill. As we make a loop through that area on Saldana, we'll head into some small sand dunes and we'll start heading south towards El Chinero. This is race mile 195. You will then cross Highway 3 again for the 3rd time and head towards San Felipe due south through some of the roughest conditions off-road racing sees anytime during the year. And that's going to send you into Matomi Wash. And then you're going to take another turn back to the northwest and start heading towards more of the top part of the race course. Of course, we'll turn westbound towards San Matias. You're going to make a left turn and head to Mike's Sky Rancho. It's going to be challenging for many of the teams, and you'll get out to the west coast directly on the Pacific Ocean and start heading north along that coast. Now this is fast, and that's going to take us through some of the back hills behind San Vicente, and what's key about that is it's about 44 miles of rally-style road going through the mountains of north central Baja. This brings you back to Valle Trinidad, another legendary spot as you go through Independencia, Reforma. We're going to race back in on the same race course that we raced out on and start coming into town. The longest continuous off-road race in the world, and it means business. Nothing is easy about the Baja 1000. It seems like we always say it's the toughest Baja 1000 ever. I'm not going to say that this time, but I will say it's going to be one of the most technical and trying Baja 1000s that I have ever seen. We've talked about the drivers, we've talked about the course. I wish I could tell you more about the flavor of what's happening here in Ensenada because it's at a fever pitch and people are excited for this race. Right now, all it's left to do is go racing. This is the Bfgoodrich Tires 55th running of the SCORE International Baja 1000 presented by 4 Wheel Parts. Let's get to it.
The year comes down to this. One last chance for drivers to bring their A-game and battle for the title. What stands between them and glory are 828 miles of one of the most difficult terrains in the world. Grand Marshal Scott Harden is here to kick things off at this legendary race.
You know, it's not the guy that goes the fastest, it's the guy that has the least problems that wins these events. If you have a good, clean, smooth ride, you're going to be in the hunt for a win, a class win, or maybe even the overall.
Starting the action off the line is the super team of Bryce Menzies and Andy McMillan in Truck 7. Bryce will take the initial shift behind the wheel as he looks to earn his first SCORE Baja 1000 win.
But looking forward to this one. It's going to be a long race, very brutal. It's a loop race this year. It's a lot of the same course that we've been running for the 400 and 500 San Felipe, so it's really torn up. So I think it's going to be a very challenging Baja 1000.
The reigning 2021 SCORE Baja 1000 champions Luke McMillan and Rob McCachran will again team up in their 4 Wheel Parts truck number 83 with ambitions to repeat.
Hurricane K came in and it was gnarly, so you know, with that being said, it's torn up a lot of the track. The washes are different. There's a lot of boulders exposed. I think it could be a race of flat tires. We'll see. Good thing we got Bfgoodrich tires, so they're the best tire out here, and I think that's going to be our edge this race.
A strong finish in the Baja 400 earned Dan McMillan a 3rd position start, and he looks to continue the momentum that brought him here.
So I'm teaming up with Josh Daniel. His ride for this year's 1000 fell through about a couple months ago. So he gave me a call, and we decided to team up for this year's race. I'm going to start and go to mile 160. He'll get in and go all the way around to 480. He'll do the entire San Felipe section.
In the Monster Energy number 10 truck, Tavo Vildosolo will take the wheel, sharing duties with Alan Ampudia.
55 years of an amazing race, which I've been very fortunate to have the opportunity to win. My teammate for this race also has had the opportunity to win, so we're very excited to go and attack the course today.
And straight from Australia, Paul Wheel and Toby Price combined forces again after a successful SCORE Baja 400 run put them in a strong position for today's race.
It's the biggest off-road race in the world. My job today is to get the car from the start to 360 miles down where Toby's going to hop in and in the same position, if not further up.
The SCORE World Desert Championship is being brought to you by Monster Energy, Optima Batteries, and VP Racing Fuels. Trophy trucks are moving through Santa Maria as they head toward Ojos Negros. The lead trucks are matching Bryce's moves mile by mile, and they're not letting him out of their sight. The rest of the classes are all set to follow the trophy trucks on course. Ready to lead them is Class 1 with Kyle Quinn, Brendan Gaughan, and Brad Wilson in front. Leading the trophy truck spec class is Christopher Palvordi, Ryan Hancock, and Jorge Sampietro. At the front of the Class 10 cars is Bruce Yee, followed by Manlio Diaz and Roberto Romo. Opening up for the UTV Open class is Mike Caffro, with Craig Scanlon and Kristen Matlock behind him. Austin Weiland will lead the UTV Forced Induction class, followed by Wes Miller and Matt Burrows. Mark Samuels has been on a path to dominance in the Pro Moto class. After recovering from a serious injury in 2019 that kept him out of the Baja 1000, Mark led the Monster Energy SLR Honda team to victory in the legendary race each of the next 2 years. Re-teaming this year with fellow riders Justin Morgan and Kendall Norman, Samuels on the 7X bike will have to overcome some serious opposition. Current Pro Moto Unlimited points leader Juan Carlos Salvatierra, who, in the SLR team's absence, has won every score race so far in 2022.
It seems like they're riding really well, so we'll be fighting with some dust at the beginning, and I think by San Felipe we'll probably have a battle on our hands with them, and yeah, we'll just find out.
Two seemingly unbeatable teams face off in the biggest race of the year. This is the kind of epic battle that makes off-road racing history. The front of the pack in the trophy truck class is persistent in their pursuit of the leader. Keeping Bryce in their sights is critical as they match his every move. With the championship on the line, these heavyweights will stop at nothing. As much as they need to push their vehicles early on, racers must weigh the risks they are taking with these trucks versus the need to push for position, especially early in the race. Ironman Larry Rossler is running solid in his quest to conquer Baja all by himself. After a career that includes 13 total score Baja 1000 wins, these 828 miles will be tough, but nothing he hasn't seen before. With these trophy trucks battling so intensely here on the desert, the resulting dust trails present one more obstacle these brave racers must contend with. Trophy trucks are currently moving through Tres Hermanos. Bryce Menzies, currently in the lead of the pack, is getting immense pressure from Rob McEachran. Rob Mack is only seconds behind and looking for a chance to make his move. Dan McMillan and Tavo Vildosala are focused on Rob's path and looking for an opening. Rob McEachran makes his move and passes Menzies to take the lead on course. Bryce is now forced to play catch-up while keeping Dan and Tavo at bay. Mike Walzer has pulled over with mechanical trouble. Ricky Johnson and Larry Rossler are within striking distance and overtake Walzer, with Ricky assuming his spot. Rossler isn't satisfied moving up just one position. Now he puts pressure on Ricky as they maneuver through these narrow paths. Ricky pulls over and watches Rossler overtake him. A new leader for the Class 1 cars has emerged as Brad Wilson jumps ahead from his start in third. Brendan Gaughan has experienced mechanical trouble and is currently sidelined. Kyle Quinn and Cody Reed are following Brad closely. Ryan Hancock has jumped over Christopher Palvordi to take the lead of the spec class. Chris is fighting to regain the advantage, and Jorge Sampietro is still holding on to that third spot. Roberto Romo has moved up to the #1 spot among the Class 10 racers after starting in third. Meanwhile, Manlio Diaz and Hiram Duran are dueling for the second spot on course. Craig Scanlon now leads the Pro UTV Open class, with Kristen Matlock close in second and Mike Pratt in third. Austin Weiland has control of the UTV forced induction class, with Wes Miller and Matt Burrows behind him. Shane Logan is currently on the seat of the 10X and in the lead of the Pro Moto class. The team is looking strong in their quest for a clean sweep for the year, but Forrest Minchinton and Mark Samuels have both been keeping it close, and they are not making it easy for the 10X team. Bryce Menzies has regained the lead of the trophy trucks after passing Rob McEachran. With the daylight dwindling, Rob wants to recover before the sun disappears, and passing Bryce brings more danger. Cruising behind them and fighting for third is Chavo Vildosola. The team has caught up to Dan McMillan and are opening up their throttle to take his position. Running fifth on course is Cameron Steele, and now Dan is his target. The team has jumped 2 spots from the start, and they're looking for more. Behind Cameron, Paul Wheel's team is pushing their truck to its limit as Larry Rossler has caught up. Rossler has been taking down names since his start in 14th and shows no sign of slowing down. Rossler overtakes 46 and settles into 6th position.
what's up, guys? We're over here at El Chinero, race mile 200. We just got the news that unfortunately we have to pull out of the race and due to a mechanical issue, caught on fire. Good news is my Toyo teammates, Bryce Menzies and Andy McMillan, are still out front, leading the pack, the trophy truck field. So, like Bryce was rooting for us when they had a problem a couple years ago when we won, same for us. He's been always there, hasn't won a Baja 1000 yet, so we're gonna be cheering them on throughout the night, and unfortunately, this is where our story ends for this year. We'll be back next year.
It can take years of experience to build up the awareness and the instincts needed to conquer Baja. Christopher Palvorde appears to have been born with those instincts. He's only 22 and been driving the Optima Spec truck for just over a year. Yet he's exploded on the scene with 2 wins in the first 3 races. And as he lines up for the Score Baja 1000, not only is he the points leader in the trophy truck spec class, no other racer in Score has accumulated as many points as Chris has. A strong performance in the 1000 today could clinch a history-making achievement for the young Palvorde. Speed, confidence, and instincts. Christopher Palvorde may have everything it takes to make his mark in Baja. The Baja 1000 is in full motion, stirring mile-high dust trails into the sky. In Promoto Unlimited, the 10X team remains on top. Forrest Minchinton has aggressively made his way into the second position, although right behind him is Mark Samuels on 7X, a bike that carries a legacy of multiple victories. A vast desert filled with harmony and beauty, a place where nature usually rests in silence. Within this silence is a call to adventure through the wild territory of Baja. Bryce Menzies, a seasoned veteran of Baja adventures, leads the trophy trucks as the 7 truck roars through, shattering the silence of the desert. Looming behind is Rob McCachran in Trophy Truck 83, sparing no measure to take the lead. Trophy Truck 23 puts pressure on McCachran, nipping at his heels. Larry Rossler's 43 truck is not far behind as he continues to climb the ranks, fueled by determination and experience. Ricky Johnson in 21L holds steady pace, keeping up with the racers in front of him. Mikey Lawrence comes sweeping in behind Ricky, carving up the trail, leaving large dust clouds billowing behind him. Tim Herbst in Trophy Truck 19 remains on pace, positioning himself to take advantage of any mistakes made ahead of him. Leading the Trophy Truck Spec class is Christopher Palvorde in 204. Pierce Herbst in 264 has pushed his way up to second position, now keeping his fellow competitors in his dust trails. Gaining third position is Eli Kiger in 238. Charles Dorrance runs in fourth right behind Eli, matching his speed and determination. 233, Justin Davis's team, has made their presence known, also moving up through the ranks. Christian Serapis has had a lot of competition ahead of him, but stays focused with each race mile. Wayne Matlock has quickly moved up 4 positions to take the lead of the Pro UTV class. Right behind him, his wife, Kristen. Brandon Sims is in third, trailing closely behind 1854. Bruce Yee was first off the line for Class 10 and remains at the top of the field. But with hundreds of miles ahead, he has to remain focused. Rafael Aguirre has made gains and climbed to second position. Roberto Romo maintains third in the 1062 car, while Manlio Diaz has dropped back to fourth position. Brad Wilson is now running at the top of Class 1 after moving past the whole field to take control of the race. Mike Fry has been with him almost every step of the way, climbing up to second. Christopher Palvordi has his eyes on the prize as he pushes his engine to the limit. Still holding his lead of the trophy truck spec class, the finish line becomes more tangible with each passing mile. The sun begins to sink behind the hills. Darkness threatening to make the competition more dangerous on these unpredictable desert roads. Palvordi has made it to his last pit stop where, after over 300 miles, he hands over driving duties. Quickly, 204 is back on the course. The resurgence doesn't last long, though, as 204 has to pull to the side with an overheating engine. Millions of stars light up the desert sky that wraps around Baja. As the trophy trucks head into Mike's Sky Ranch. Mechanical issues sideline the 7 truck after a driver change. Frustration builds on the face of Andy McMillan as he sits at a pit stop with his mechanics under the belly of his truck. They're working as fast as they can to get him back in the race. Andy's cousin Luke McMillan, now in the driver's seat of the 83 truck, has taken the lead, pushing full force to stay ahead of the field. Dan McMillan in 23 follows right behind 83, battling for first position. Finally, Andy is motioned back onto the course to continue, but now he has ground to make up. .21L is ready for a driver change, and Ricky Johnson climbs out for a much-needed rest. Night blankets the desert, and campfires keep fans warm as pro motor rider David Smith nears La Jolla, just ahead of the trophy trucks. Word comes that Andy McMillan has finally pushed the number 7 truck beyond its limits, and it's out of the race. Dan McMillan has gained the lead as he plows uphill through a silt bed. His brother Luke still eyes the win, but needing to make up ground in these conditions can be dangerous. Larry Rossler, still at the wheel of the 43 truck, is third on course. Following him is Gustavo Vildosola, now in 21L, holding on to the lead of the Trophy Truck Legends class. Tim Herbst and Mikey Lawrence strive to keep up with the leaders as they grind up the desert course. Dallas Luttrell finds his way through the overgrown trail, giving the 87 truck as much gas as he dares, with no telling what dangers each corner will reveal. At the finish in Ensenada, Justin Morgan on 7X is the first racer to cross the line, handing teammate Mark Samuels his 3rd consecutive Baja 1000 Pro Moto victory.
It was rough. It was super rough. Those trucks tear it up, and it's tough on a bike.
These northern races, you get a lot of everything, so it was really fun.
When they asked me to come for this one, I mean, in the back of my mind, I knew that it would be this tough and gnarly and rough, but I had such a good time last year. I was like, all right, like let's do it again. There's something like about racing in Baja especially, but just like the whole atmosphere of it really engages your mind and your body, and it like keeps you really sharp and on point. And I mean, I thrive for that.
Forrest Minchinton follows to take second place.
Bike was amazing, honestly. Like we had to do a change in exhaust because we kind of had the packing blow out about halfway through, but got that remedied, and you know, we just kept burning gas and rubber all day long.
And with a third place finish, the Juan Carlos Salvatierra 10X team clinches the Season Points Championship in the Pro Moto Unlimited class. The Spec class pushes on through the trophy's dust toward Maling, with Riley Herbst now driving the 264 truck in the lead. Justin Davis is breathing down his neck, and Eli Kiger is still in the hunt in third position as he blasts along tracks that get deeper with every truck that passes. David Ziegler in 266 finds out how treacherous the silt can be when he's brought to a standstill in a cloud of dust and has to wait for assistance to drag him out of this quagmire. Class 1 leader Kyle Quinn is only able to see a few feet ahead as he guides the 138 car through the twists and dips of this desert track. At the silt beds, he's able to power through, and Damon Jeffries follows him. But when the narrow trail gets blocked by another racer trapped in the silt, Mike Fry has to find an alternate route to keep pace. Having reached open desert beyond Maling, Larry Rossler brings the 43 truck in for some quick maintenance. His well-drilled team takes care of business, which includes getting him some water and snacks. Back at La Jolla, Hiram Dern is able to finesse his way through the silt bed danger, maintaining his lead. Justin Buckley has to use every bit of gripping power his 1064 car can muster in order to reach the top of the hill and stay on track. And Stan Potter struggles, but breathes a sigh of relief when he makes it past the danger point. Others aren't so lucky, as the heavier vehicles like the 45 trophy truck of Gary Magnus have a harder time dealing with the conditions, sometimes forcing cars behind them to improvise. Brandon Sims' attempt to pass Magnus leaves him high and dry. And the 7 class leader, Jeff Proctor, demonstrates the problem of no traction before getting dragged to safety. With time running short, the 83 truck has taken over the lead on course, and Luke McMillan looks poised to secure his 3rd consecutive SCORE Baja 1000 victory. Dan McMillan doesn't have many miles left to make one more move and spoil his brother's party. Behind them, Larry Rossler has been at the wheel from the start and is still running strong. The SCORE World Desert Championship is being brought to you by Monster Energy, 4 Wheel Parts, and King Shocks. The headlights of the first trophy truck split the night, and Luke McMillan brings the 83 truck into Ensenada in a time of 16 hours, 37 minutes. The win gives Luke his third SCORE Baja 1000 title in a row, which allows him to join his teammate Rob McCachran and another SCORE legend, Larry Ragland, as three-peat winners of the biggest crown in off-road racing. But it didn't come easy.
It was just endless rocks, ditches, and it was just a mental game just to stay in it. You know, I started catching myself just focusing like, oh, I just want to get through this section and then just this section. And then I was like, I got to stop thinking about it. Just drive what's right in front of me and get out of my own head.
We were first on the road, and I'm thinking we got this now. The sun's about ready to go down. I'll get the truck to Luke, and then he'll just hold the first truck on the road, and we got it. And then the drive shaft come apart, and it's like, oh, man. But, you know, Duncan and I got out, and, you know, it actually happened very calmly and swiftly. And we got another shaft put in there, and when we got back in the truck and started going, I said, you know, we can still win this. So I started pushing really hard because I know, you know, I think Luke really wants to win this race. It's his third in a row, and I know how badly he wanted that. You know, Luke's got the #1 plate back, and we were happy to be part of it.
As the 83 team celebrates a historic win, Luke's brother Dan crosses the line to give the McMillan family a 1-2 finish in the 55th SCORE Baja 1000.
Man, it was brutal out there, but first and second overall was pretty special.
Next in is another Baja legend. Larry Rossler completes a solo run of this very tough course to take third and add to an impressive legacy.
It was an amazing day. I mean, really, we ran good at the beginning and just got lucky with a couple passes early. So we were having fun, you know. We just hung in there and really happy to be on the podium. That's awesome. We're stoked. I love the challenge, you know, and every race. And a lot of people ask me, you know, like, it's, you know, doesn't it get old? And absolutely not.
Gustavo Vildosola brings the 21L truck home to claim his fourth Legends Class win of the season. Following him across the line are Dave Taylor and Mikey Lawrence.
21L, 4 in a row. They won the 250, the 500, the 400, and now the 1,000. I mean, couldn't be prouder of my dad and the whole team. You know, Baja legend champions, you know, and you know, can't wait to have the 1L plate on the side of this truck for next year.
Eli Kiger's time of 17 hours, 49 minutes sets the pace for the Trophy Truck Spec class.
Saw you enter the speed zone fucking half a mile back. I was like, God damn it.
Justin Davis and Riley Herbst follow to take second and third. It's daylight by the time the Class 10 cars start to arrive. Hiram Duran follows Rafael Aguirre across the line, but with an official time of 19 hours 40 minutes, the 1016 car claims the victory. Justin Buckley, in 20 hours and 46 seconds, earns second place for the class on elapsed time. Kyle Quinn's 138 is the first Class 1 car to reach Ensenada. With Damon Jeffries taking second. And Mike Fry rounding out the top three. The Pro UTV Open class honors go to Brandon Sims with a time of 20 hours and 37 minutes. Craig Scanlon racks up a second-place finish, 15 minutes faster than Wayne Matlock in third. In Pro UTV forced induction, Austin Weiland cruises to his third win in a row, 13 minutes ahead of second place Phil Blurton. Ronnie Anderson lands on the podium in third. Jeff Proctor outlasts his rivals in Class 7 for his first victory of the year. San Felipe winner Scott Brady takes second. And Dan Chamley is third. Brad Lovell brings the 773 truck in to claim the crown in the stock midsize class. Luke McMillan adds his name to the history books with his third consecutive win in the SCORE Baja 1000. Larry Rossler makes a statement with an Ironman performance to claim third. And Mark Samuels also collects his third 1000 crown in as many years in the Pro Moto class. Hiram Duran takes Class 10 ahead of three rivals, Justin Buckley, Jose David Rubalcaba, and Rafael Aguirre, all clustered within a minute and a half of each other. Kyle Quinn earns his second win of the season here, outrunning Damon Jeffries on this brutal loop course. Brandon Sims, after moving from Pro UTV forced induction class to Pro UTV Open for the 1000, finishes almost an hour ahead of his nearest rival. A hard-fought Baja 1000 closes the book on the SCORE World Desert Championship for 2022. Join us next spring to kick off 2023, when the world's top off-road racers will meet to battle for glory in the SCORE San Felipe 250.